what's up? How you doing? So there's 3 guys, and they all jump out of an airplane, and they all have to drop something out of their parachutes to make their situation lighter. I mean, out of the airplane. So one drops apple, one drops an orange, and one drops a grenade. And then these 3 guys, they land on the ground, and then they go walking down the street, and one kid is crying, and they say, "Hey kid, why are you crying?" And they say, he says, because an apple fell from the sky and hit me on the head. And they say, "Okay, sorry." And they keep walking, and the 3 guys keep walking, and they see another guy, and they say, "Hey, what's good?" And another kid is crying, and they say, "Oh, what's the matter, sir?" And he says, "Oh, a banana fell from the sky and hit me on the head." And they said, "Oh, geez." So then they come to a 3rd lady, and it's a grandmother, and she's sitting on the ground, and she's laughing, and she's rolling, and she's laughing, and she's having a good time. And they're like, "What's so funny, miss?" And she said, "Oh, well, I just farted and my house blew up." "Oh, yay, la da dee doo doo doo. Yeah, welcome to the news, welcome to the news, welcome to the news. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, one of the first themes for today's news is talking about how this is actually like kind of a big stand-up comedy farce. The whole podcast is like a little bit of a formation of stand-up comedy. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. The purpose in essence is to do a bit of a backdrop to be able to use music to begin with. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. But having comedy in essence is like the guys to be able to make it's like hiding and packaging the brand within the whole process to be able to get it out there. Oh, a little bit more because it's a little bit satirical. This whole podcast situation, it's a little bit comedic, like stand-up comedy. Okay, yeah, oh. And also the spiritual finance stuff is a bit like a priest. I'm trying to be like a priest and have this be like a preacher service every day, like churches in service. Oh, and that's obviously a little bit peculiar and strange to try to do such a thing, so just bear with me. But in essence, it's all like comedy, because obviously I'm tripping over my own words and it's not professional, and it's not that fantastic sounding after all. So trying to be like a priest who's singing punk songs and such things is, in terms of doing sermons, is in essence like it results in like comedy. Oh yeah, so we're doing like stand-up comedy sets every single day for you for the news. Oh yeah, even though it's mostly not really even that funny. Oh yeah, so you call it like dark comedy. Oh, I don't know, but the purpose of this whole thing is to be able to mix ingredients, to be able to get the purpose across, to be able to try to also blend unique types of media, so that ultimately it's like a unique type of marketing to be able to get people's brand awareness, to be able to become brand aware that there's awareness about our brand. Oh yeah, which is Dinky Tech and Change4Games Studios, which has to do with trying to develop a whole systematization for global giving games that develops around the world in a hopeful sense. Yeah, and it's really difficult, for sure, to be able to try to conceptualize how to get this stuff to actually happen for reals, because it's mad difficult to try to propagate messaging and also have the fabric and the fundamentals and the production aspect on the one hand, and then the marketing aspect on the other, but the production aspect where it's actually like a functional product or a functional process and product to begin with, and also marketing at the same time. It's all about people and connecting those 2 dots and those 2 sides and having a functional process on both sides. After all, the engineering on both sides, wireframing on the second side. Oh yeah, and the electricity has to try to flow. So we need your help. We need your help with this for sure. We need your help with this for sure. You gotta be helping us as a little bit of like the audience is helping and participating in the cause. Oh, please start to distribute this podcast. Hey, just get some of these things out there so we can just try to get the global giving games to be able to come real soon, more so soon, because it's already a thing. It's already a global environment. We're just trying to transpose it so it's a more fun process, and that's the incentive, is for everyone to just flow alongside of us and with us, so that we get the world to become involved and engulfed in these games that are so much more enthralling to be able to participate with when we're focused on giving rather than taking, and providing for selfish causes. Oh yeah, or self-centered. Oh yeah, self-centered in terms of a self-purposeful group, as opposed to the whole world all the time in every given facet and possibility, because there's so many people that are just completely deprived of super basics, not just the internet, but like food. Oh yeah, many people around the world, all around the world, because they don't have access, because it's like they're just like not acknowledged or forgotten. No, yeah. So the global giving games, in essence, is something which is like, in terms of the chemistry sense, in terms of breaking it down, in terms of trying to focus on what it's supposed to be about. It's similar to like witchcraft, sports, if you will, like taking witchcraft, which has to do with nature and being very engulfed in nature. And just when you go outside and you take a walk and you're silent and you stand next to a tree and you touch the tree as well, you feel the vibrations, you feel the connection to nature. By doing that, you're not focused on other people and such things, you're just focused on nature. And when you take the element of what the global giving games are supposed to be about, which is what Change4Games Studios is supposed to be all about, it has to do with like witchcraft, like Harry Potter games in essence, like again, like Quidditch, the game Quidditch, and like the games for change. The Change4Games, games, studios, Change4Games Studios, games, around the world, trying to do this 24/7, like making markets and such energies into hopeful these energies to align, and so we all are able to play these games around the world. But it's like hope. It's just to make it clear and clarify. It's like the Harry Potter global giving games in essence, which is like witchcraft. Again, it has to do with nature, and it's like games and sports and making sports and continuing to make it like global games that are games for change, and they're business games. Indeed, they're business games. They're actually business games because philanthropy energy is the core. That is meant to be the purpose of business as a whole, because after all, trying to solve people's problems is the purpose of business as a whole, and not try to make money for everybody that tries to manipulate the system. And that's what the current state of business is now. So once we start to just focus on synthetic philanthropic energy, that's what we've got remaining is Harry Potter, global giving, witchcraft, connected to nature games that are sports, that are global games, that are also Change4Games, where we're changing ourselves for games, and that's why it's called that. And they're business games. And in terms of trying to jump into the e-commerce world, which is what we're trying to do, to try to be able to start selling merchandise like we're one of those sports stores, like we are the gift shop, like we are the sports shop within the rink, the ice rink that has to do with the global giving games. In essence, there's like the sports shop, and one of the first products we're trying to sell today, we're trying to conceptualize how to start pushing products into the business world, because this is a business world game after all, is starting with candles. We're trying to push out some candles and conceptualizing something that actually aligns with the games that can be used within the game, because it can develop a mind frame. When you have a candle, it's meant to be scented and have a purpose to be able to centering focus around a flame. For example, that is what a candle typically can be used for. Candles can be okay. So that's the purpose of trying to start with this product, because it actually is a flare. It's an igniting. It's an igniting factor. It's an ignition in being able to use the purpose for the product within the actual games, the fabric of the games themselves. So we're trying to have that be a part of the product and the production, because that has to do with the brand story as a whole, because your product, in terms of the marketing and the product production process as a whole, is a matter of documenting as opposed to creating, which is what we're doing right now within this podcast. And today we're looking into just the foundational products to be able to start selling and to start pulling and pushing at the same time as trying to get promotion to be able to stick and such things. So if there's promotion and sticking, then we have a cause that's promotional or is purposeful that connects to the cause as a whole, as the foundation of for the global giving games, to be able to try to promote that cause and to be able to promote that purpose, to be able to have that exist, the global giving game. So having a candle, to like a witchcraft has candles sometimes, so we want to sell candles perhaps just to start things off. And we're doing like a little bit of a print on demand situation with the candles and such things, but we're trying to have those be for sale, because we're just trying to get this gravity and energy to be able to spin like a magnet that floats in the air, but it's floating because of this weird magnetism situation. And that's how we're trying to make this flywheel start to begin with, is by having unique kitschy products that are also part of the games in of itself. So it's like you're playing the game by just buying one of these items. It's not like you're just buying a candle to support the cause, but you're actually playing the game. It's like you're buying a piece of sports equipment by buying one of our items. And that's what I was saying. And essence to begin with is that the brand cause and such things should align with the marketing and such things with the purpose of the brand cause of a given business vehicle. Of a business, of a certain business cause, to be able to have a certain product align with the purpose for the direction that a business vehicle is driving in that direction. And that's what I mean by selling candles. So that our product aligns with the purpose for the global giving games, because it causes focus in witchcraftery, which is the witchcraft global giving games that are like Harry Potter games that we're trying to make to begin with, to end with, to make everything in the world, in the game of business, into a global giving Harry Potter games arena environment, world of wizardry and peculiar items that connect with nature, and all of this natural nature energy, which is so much asset, natural nature energy that's in nature, and it's floating around. It's being able to try to connect people with all that asset energy as opposed to what they're focused on, which is just a narrow-minded world of business right now that has to do with largely, many times, in many ways, significant atmosphere that is related to manipulation, which also has to do with why focus is so narrow to begin with, because that manipulation has been successful in terms of getting people to just focus on narrow products that appear to be in the marketplace for now, but asset energy is so much wider than that, and it's in nature. It's found so much by connecting in nature, so much of it, so that's why it all connects back with nature, and candles are a symbol of being able to connect with witchcraftery as well as nature, as well as focusing on the flame for focusing on yourself and your mindset as a whole. It's like the electricity in the eyeball to begin with, and reflecting light within the cell and the soul back into the soul. Oh yeah. Another thing that was decided upon today was to turn off notifications on the phone that had to do with a lot of social media stuff, and we're trying to transition that into just assets to be able to pop up on the phone screen. So now it's just like trading mechanisms that are popping up on the thing, and interesting statistics that are popping up on the screen, and that's it. We're trying to at least make a conscious effort to be able to transition and take away some of the grossness that's been just coming across the phone screen before, to be able to make it so it's just assets, it's asset numbers, it's asset data, it's asset information, and therefore asset energy that's coming across the phone screen. Oh yeah. Another thing we're trying to start to focus on is going to art to begin with, as opposed to making art from a reflection as well. We're trying to start by focusing on art, and there was a little bit of an inspiration of a tattoo of a guy who had a whole arc. He had an arc on his shin necessarily, and that was the an inspiration for what was within the arc on the shin. It was an interesting depth. It was like a look in and a peer into this way of searching for art, actually searching for art, as opposed to and looking for art like visualizations. To begin with, as opposed to making art after making the visualizations, and for example making art after, like this podcast is done, for example, which is the typical way that we wanted to start doing art, after having the metaphors to begin with, by doing that secondarily, having the art be secondary. But whereas now, today the realization is to be able to start to do the visualization of the art to begin with, and be able to try to pull sensations from nature, by being able to pull sensations from nature by seeing art to begin with, by seeing forms and shapes that connects with art, that has to do with different shapes and different tidbits of things that can come somehow flow together, and then form bits of art that has a cheeky and interesting flow in an interesting way that also would look good on clothing, for example, to begin with. So that is the start point, and then being able to withdraw, and be able to take away little bits of symbols out of and deconstruct those pieces of art after they exist. That is the purpose of doing it now. And what was realized today is going to the art first, and we're going to start to just print random art first, and be able to make symbology from it, and be able to then reflect secondarily upon the messaging. That's a necessity when trying to realign with how to mix up the processes and make new items from what we're trying to do on a day-to-day basis. Okay, and the last thing is we're just trying to make collections of sounds, and today we decided to try to mash up that are things that are sounds as well as vocals, and make new sounds from both of those things, and be able to mix them and go back and forth in essence, as opposed to focusing on both of them at the same time, trying to mix and mash them by actually making them merge, so the sounds merge with the voices and vocals and such things, so they become one sometimes, and then they separate into separate things that are sounds as well as vocals and such things, but then they merge again, and going back and forth as like a methodology for making music, so that the actual sound of the voice in of itself becomes one of the instruments in the background, not just an instrument that's in the foreground, like a lead singing aspect of the process of a song, which it usually is. It's like the top layer track that is sort of laying and leading on the top end of a given song, for example. So in this instance, now today we're trying to make the vocals lean back and become part of the sounds, and become part of the sounds, and become part of the sounds as part of the music making process going forward in the future, while we're trying to continue to bring more innovative sounds and music into the pipeline of this production of IP that's trying to get more people's attention on a day-to-day basis. This really comes down to attention at this time, and we're trying to, all these things have to do with attention and retention of it, and that's why stand-up comedy, which is something that's almost forgotten about in this new age media age, the data's format of living, is something that's been forgotten about, which is kind of a joke in of itself, because it's not necessarily true. Just kidding. It's not even really a joke, but I guess we'll make it into a joke. Anyways, let's just try to phase this podcast out. Basically, for the most part, we're done on that. We just wanted to talk about sounds merging with vocals. To be able to try to make future music and sound, for sure, because right now all I'm doing is acappella vocals, and it's very peculiar, and the sound is very peculiar indeed, and it's not even that really much like singing at all, so that's why it's like comedy. It's gotta be, yeah, but we want to make very peculiar and precious sounds when going forward, like DJ status, indeed, and we're trying to also make things readily available so we're able to change up the IP and make it very interesting as often as possible by also merging and finding the hollowness of the universe and hollowing it out and cleaning it and scrubbing it out and waxing it nice and clean so that it makes the cleanest and most residual and interesting and peculiar resonant sounds into the universe and into the sky. That is all intermixing between vocals and peculiar electronic sounds that are mixing genres and shifting genres as well at the same time. So that's why we need to merge the vocals with the background sounds, and it's unique compared to what is out there because no other sounds that are or any other genres of music are doing that today in this day and age. So I'll just have to try to show you, I guess, what I mean by trying to make a sample and maybe attaching it to either this or the next cast. Anyways, I'll let you go for now. Thanks again. All right, Dinky Tech. Bye. Peace. Bye.